Well, hey now, everybody. It's the Rob from 106.1 Kiss FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting. Please welcome to the show. He's got kids. Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Don't go putting that on me. I'm not fighting AOP. Forget it.
Good morning, buddy.
Good morning. What a shakeup we had last night on Raw.
Yeah, Raw, I thought, was a show defined by newsworthy events, not so much the in-ring wrestling.
And it never stopped. It just kept on coming.
Which, by the way, I think I liked that. I think I prefer that method to like a draft, or like I remember one time we watched one together. It was like 5. Remember, like you got to choose one every week, like for 5 weeks over the summer of 05.
Dragging it out.
And I liked how everything was spaced throughout the show. They didn't give you a whole bunch at once. You got one at like, it seemed like every segment there was like a new announcement.
At some point, yeah, they would pop in, and sometimes I found myself forgetting. I was like, oh, okay, Natalia's not on Raw. Like I just forgot about her, where she was, and she shows up, and it wasn't as big a deal to me. You know,
that was the low point of like any announcement ever made. Like was Natalia jumping from SmackDown to Raw. She is so insignificant now.
Yeah, and I felt bad for Baron Corbin, who got to make the jump but didn't even get to be on the show.
That was kind of funny. You're right.
Just give him. Natty gets 2 segments and the Ronda Rousey rub, and Baron Corbin doesn't even get on the show.
Yeah, I wonder why that was.
I don't know. You know, and you said you didn't really like the in-ring wrestling work, but it was one of my. I won't say one of the best matches, but it was definitely one of my favorite Jinder Mahal matches that I've ever seen. Like him and Jeff Hardy were really entertaining. That was an entertaining match.
That's the thing. Now that he's on Raw, he's going to have some talent to work with. And like, really, you know, it's interesting because I don't know why, but I still find myself like if a wrestler I like jumps to Raw, I find myself like silently thinking that's a win because for some reason, I guess I've been watching Raw longer. I don't know why my head thinks that way, but really it doesn't matter. I just feel like, I guess if they make a jump, they've got some sort of plan for that person.
Although I was so afraid that the 5th member at the end of the show was going to be Randy Orton, and I was going to be upset. I don't want Randy Orton on Raw. I don't want him there.
Well, I feel like it means very little nowadays. Like, I guess it's just like, I want them to be swapped up no matter, like swapping is, you want about half your roster to move so that half of them can get exposed to the new talent.
The new talent. And it really seemed like it did, you know, and moving Bobby Roode over was good. I thought maybe we'd see Randy Orton, like I said. I thought maybe Rusev. I still don't know what's going on with Rusev in the WWE.
Yeah, so I've got notes from last night. It was because so much happened again, which is so nice for several weeks in a row. A Raw that's very newsworthy and stuff to talk about. Can I go through some notes here?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
First of all, boy, Kurt Angle out-Kurted himself at the start of the show.
Oh, he's the worst.
Because we know he has a track record of mispronouncing Jinder Mahal's name. So here's a quote from the show right before they introduced the title match, what Jeff Hardy wound up winning. Who wants to prove Jinder Mahal wrong?
I missed that.
It was okay. If you still have the show on your DVR, it's the last words Kurt says before Jeff Hardy comes out. Jared, it is so mushmouth. Brittany and I rewatched it 3 times.
He out-Kurted himself.
It was who wants to prove Jinder Mahal wrong? He was combining the word raw and wrong. Yeah. And of course Jinder Mahal. Jerry, it was so Kurt. If only he would have been like, which WWE superstar wants to prove Jinder Mahal wrong?
Bubbly doubly doubly do bubbly boobly boo gabba gaboo.
So that was nice. Obviously, Jinder. You know, let's give a quick little note on each person. Jinder Mahal jumping to Raw. Your thoughts?
Good for him. It's time to get him away from Orton.
Yeah,
and get him away from a brand that while it pushed him, it did it in the stalest way, like fresh matchups, bringing the U.S. Championship over to Raw. I think is a great idea. Although I think it's going back tonight, to be quite honest.
Jerry, you're so right. I didn't even think about that. I thought that meant Rollins was going.
It could. It's either Rollins or Hardy, but it would make sense that they move Hardy away from Matt for a little while.
It does make sense. I wasn't even thinking, Jared. Nice job. Nice grab there. That makes more sense than Rollins. I agree. I think if anyone has been spinning their wheels because of a lack of opponents, it's Jinder Mahal. And I feel like he just really needed some fresh faces. The problem with Jinder became it was Orton every time. And then, it was Nakamura for a minute, but then it was, Rude. And it was really just spinning wheels with him no matter who he was against, right?
Absolutely. And I think that this will be good for him. Although, remember, Jinder Mahal has never won on Raw, ever. And he still hasn't.
Correct, yeah. It was interesting to see a title change immediately with the announcement that Jinder's on his way over. So
yeah, they weren't messing around. But that's why I think that they might be putting Jeff back, even though they're going to fight at the Greatest Royal Rumble or whatever. But
a few notes about the next match. First of all, WTF was Bayley wearing on her way to the ring? It looked like a bib from Red Lobster.
No, yeah, I thought it looked like something they put on you when you're about to get an X-ray. they put that big lead thing on your lap, and on your chest.
It kind of looks. Doesn't it kind of look like a thing you put on the front of your car when it's too hot and you don't want to get your seats all hot?
Yeah.
So I don't know WTF that was. Also,
it was monogrammed. It said Bayley on it. It had her name on it.
Neat. She still shouldn't wear it to the ring. I also thought that I knew it was going to be at least a dusty finish, because why in the world would you give us this match on Raw? This had a WrestleMania type build going into it. I didn't think it'd just be a straight no nonsense match, which it did not wind up being. Obviously,
they're still building it, and now that and now the Riot Squad's there.
Right. So the next people who jump are the Riot Squad. I'm assuming you're like me when you just say, whatever, cool.
I say, well, Paige is over on SmackDown, and Sonya Deville will be there tonight.
You think Sonya Deville, or you think the rest of you think Mandy Rose too?
I think they're going to use this to split those two up. They make no sense together.
They're still a thing.
No, they're not.
It can be a thing without Paige.
No, they're not. And that was the weirdest thing. I'm jumping ahead to the next time we see Sonya Deville, and she takes that, like, what's Ronda Rousey doing? Like, she jabbed her in the boob, and then I think that she was like shoot fighting for a minute. She threw some like real combo.
You talking about Ronda?
Ronda, and then like I think it legitimately hurt Sonya, and then she dropped Sonya. I was like, oh, bye, Sonya. You're going to SmackDown now.
If we're going to jump ahead to this segment, my only real thought about that segment is, why in the world is Absolution still using Paige's theme?
That's a great. They're gone. They're going over tonight.
No, you know what, Jared? I'm going to... Okay, well, you said this is going to split them up. I think they stay a team, and I think they're both going. What is Mandy Rose going to do by herself?
Be super hot on Raw with Vince.
Okay, you're not wrong. Wherever she goes, she'll be super hot. But, boy, she is smoking hot, isn't she? By the way, I do have to say, I appreciated what you did on the post show when Mike was kind of just being like, I don't get what everyone's talking about with this Peyton Royce. What? Why is
Royce? I mean, they're fine looking, I guess.
I mean, they're not ugly, but my goodness. And then you posted, Jerry shut him down. It was amazing. Jerry was like, Mike, and he posted a picture of Peyton Royce, and he's like, Mike, if this is just fine to you, I need to see what super hot looks like.
I've got to see it.
And Mike, he posted a great gif of Homer Simpson disappearing into a bush. And it's like, this is me retracting my statement.
Yeah, You're right. I mean, you're right.
Goodness, she is special.
I get not liking her as a performer or a wrestler. I understand.
Sure.
That's fine. But you can't tell me she's not pretty.
You can't tell me she's not ridiculously smoking hot.
She's okay looking. I'd throw her out of bed. That's a lie. I wouldn't throw Rob out of bed. You think I'm going to throw Peyton? And I wouldn't.
Or spoiler alert for the wedding.
Back to your notes.
Happy birthday, Joe Diffie. We've got okay. The next
birthdays.
I was gonna say I thought that's what I lost you for, but it was something else. Whose birthday did we have today?
We'll get it. Go with your notes. I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, I think you kind of alluded to this confusion earlier. They were very heavily promoting Rusev and Undertaker in a casket match at the Saudi Arabia Greatest Rumble Ever. Yeah. All we've been hearing about is that Rusev was removed and replaced with Chris Jericho. I did a little research, and from what I can tell,
it's back on.
They have abandoned Jericho, and it's now back to Rusev.
I don't know what they're doing here with Rusev. I mean, Rusev was really upset. I mean, he took every mention of WWE off of his social media accounts over the weekend.
It's all a work. I think it's all a work. I was saying it was a work before it was being reported. It was a work. Everyone's talking about Rusev is angry. Rusev wants to leave. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. And I still think Roman bladed. I don't care what anyone tells me.
Everyone says it's hard way.
Everyone says it's hard way.
Even Taz, Stone Cold said it was a hard way.
Listen, I also remind everyone said Badass was going to return.
Stone Cold would know if it was hard way. Guys that have been in the ring would know.
Only the two people in the ring. That's what the purpose of blading is, to not show people how you did it.
Yeah, but you can usually see when someone blades. Like, they're not good about it. They're like,
There's ways. There's ways.
Triple H was never subtle about blading.
By the way, I haven't even rewatched it. I barely paid attention when it happened live. I had just seen 8 hours of wrestling and I was exhausted. Yeah. I don't even remember happening, but all I saw was the amount of blood, and I just know there was a blade. Whose birthday is it?
Happy birthday, Nails.
Charles Wackles.
Happy birthday, Rowdy Piper.
Okay. Any more?
Dead. And that's it. Yesterday we missed George the Animal Steel and Vicky Guerrero and Paul London.
Well, we didn't celebrate them, but I wouldn't say we missed them.
we missed those. So today is Nails and Rowdy Piper. Tomorrow's a big one. Tomorrow's the one of the bigger ones.
We'll celebrate. Don't even spoil it for me. You know.
I won't. No.
All right. So I
do that. The promos for that are showing up Wednesday on the network. It starts
tomorrow, bro.
You know.
I don't know how many of the people who participate in the post show and watch this show are loyal listeners to Bruce and Conrad, Something to Wrestle With, but their show is fantastic. I've been saying this since before Conrad was on my show.
I'm curious what the format is, because they haven't put a poll out. Like, they haven't.
I know what it is.
Do you know what they're going to do tomorrow?
Yeah.
What is it?
WrestleMania 14.
Okay. All right. I was wondering if they were going to do newer stuff. I didn't know what they were going to do.
And it's weekly for 13 weeks.
That's awesome. Do you think they'll have the same language?
They say they have made very clear that they're going to curse.
Good.
They said they'll talk about whatever. They said they'll talk about Benoit matches. They'll talk about China. He says there's 3 things that Bruce has made off limits, even on his own show. And I can tell you from listening to the show, it is
payroll.
Well, that's not even one of the 3 things. There's like 3 topics that he won't broach. Owens' death is one. And it was so awkward, that episode, because I was kind of waiting for them to get there, not aware that that was something he was going to avoid.
Yeah.
But Owens' death is one. Do you know the other ones?
No.
The Benoit murders.
Oh, yeah.
And strangely, it's the Ring Boy incident.
I don't know the Ring Boy incident.
It's I want to say really early 90s, and it had something to do with, man, I want to say it was Patterson was accused of, essentially, they used to have really young boys do ring work, and
Got it.
there's not a whole lot. There's not as many details about that one because, you know, it's pre-internet days and,
yeah,
you know, so, but yeah, there's a story there. I know a little bit about it, and Bruce won't talk about it.
3 things that he's off limits about, but it's not like Vince said, don't talk about those, pal.
He says, I'm leery as you are, but if you've never sampled the podcast, first of all, I recommend you listen to it. But secondly, tomorrow might be a great time to give it a shot. They're awesome. They talk like fans, like Jerry and I talk, and like I talk with when I talk with Mike or Steve. You know, they just talk like we do. And Conrad is so well informed and well researched. They bring up Dave. He's gonna say Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer is going to be all over this, and
it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it.
So yeah, that's coming up. What else do we have?
That during the show. We're jumping all over the place, but there was just so much.
Yeah.
What did you think of the new tag team of Bray and Matt Hardy? I enjoyed it last night.
The whole thing I'm not loving yet. This might be my favorite chapter in this story.
Maybe they'll iron it out.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence about it, I guess. It could be good. Like, at least there's a reason. Like, I just didn't like the reason. Like, okay, why is Bray a friend of Matt Hardy? Okay, the explanation is he went into the lake of reincarnation. At least there's a reason. I just don't like the reason.
We always say, give us a thin reason, and they gave us the thinnest.
Yeah, that's what you just said. Took the words right out of my mouth. So that's the way I feel about that. We have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, part of the Superstar Shakeup. What?
I loved it. No, I loved that. I loved those two showing up, and I love Kevin Owens being on that show now and getting him away from Shane, getting him away from all that nonsense. I thought what they did with The Miz was great, and I thought Sami Zayn was awesome last night. Reading the note and just his over-exaggerated stuff. And
yeah.
He's really coming into his own as a heel.
He was at his best mic work probably last night. I've never been a big fan of his mic work. I think he kind of uses being eccentric as a crutch. I also don't like his voice in a Nia Jax kind of way. I just don't like the way it sounds. But last night he was at his best on the mic, in my opinion. I can't remember ever liking him more on the mic.
He is obnoxious.
Oh,
that's perfect.
There was when he was explaining what the ringside area is. That was good. Remember that one?
Too. Oh yeah.
They could definitely benefit from getting out of the Shane McMahon feud, but also I think the biggest announcement from this, what I think I like the most, is it looks like we are on a collision course with Miz and Daniel Bryan.
We're finally going to get Miz and Daniel Bryan.
How bad do you want this, bro?
All the way back to Talking Smack.
This one's going back years.
One of the best promos that The Miz ever cut was on a Talking Smack.
That's not hyperbole there. What Jer's saying is right.
And it was amazing, and it was so worth going back to find and watching. And he cuts it on a Daniel Bryan that can't do anything about it. And you know he can't do anything about it. I mean, it's not one of those things where that was never a work. It was always a shoot. Like, Daniel Bryan can't have contact. And so he's just screaming at Daniel Bryan, and you see this guy just dying inside. And now he's cleared, and he wants him to come over so he can punch him in the face. And tonight's going to be great. And I hope that The Miz keeps perfecting that chicken crap heel and doesn't let Daniel get his hands on him for a while. Like, I hope that he keeps ducking Daniel for a little while. Make me die for this fight. Get this fight that, like, he has no choice. He's got to do it at SummerSlam, something like that. Give me this fight. Drag it out a little bit.
Look, we were excited for this, even with the caveat of nothing will probably come of it. And now the world is our oyster. I am excited for whatever they've got cooked up for those two.
I hope I'm not setting myself up for disappointment, but if they play this right, this could win the Postie for Feud of the Year. If they play it off right.
For sure. Even though the majority of it probably didn't even happen in 2018. It was probably a 2016 thing.
But if you cap it off, if you write the end of the book in 2018, that's when I'll give it to you.
Whatever. Do whatever you want to do. The next people who jump also, I think I feel like the writers have no faith in these guys, but I hope that they are used in a similar fashion. The Fashion Police.
They gave them the win.
They got a win over the Bar.
Yeah.
But I want more out of them. I like them off the air. I want them to wrestle still, but I think that their real value is their skits.
Well, they need to make their skits funny again. And on a 3-hour show, you can give them 2 minutes of a skit.
Right.
It was too prime real estate on SmackDown to give them, and so they stopped putting it on TV. But you could do it on Raw now. But they've got to be good.
And they were only using the same. How many tag teams could you work with when you were the Fashion Police? You weren't using main event tag teams, so you really just had the Ascension to work with, and they stopped being funny. And I feel like there's some real potential for them to maybe do some new material on Raw.
Yeah.
All right. What do we have next? The big announcement of the night. I mean, this is the one I gave the title of the episode to. The next person who jumps is Natty Neidhart.
Shut up.
After that, we've got, boy, I wish not only, I mean, they are making huge mistakes putting Nia on commentary. I don't even think the woman should have a mic just because she should be booked like a monster heel.
I didn't like any of this.
Like I said about Sami Zayn, I don't want to hear her voice. It's just unlistenable to me.
She's supposed to be a monster, but now they've made her sympathetic, and I get that too.
I don't know. I just think it's such a mistake.
When are we getting to who's next?
Up next, I've got. Real quick. I like kind of like what Bliss is doing, saying that Nia is bullying her. I think that's a cool move for them.
Yeah.
Up next is DZ, Dolph Ziggler.
I was waiting for this one. I liked his move over, and I was ready to be bored, and then in comes Drew McIntyre.
And this excites you?
I think this will be good. In a funny way, I saw somebody wrote look out, you've got Jinder, Drew, and Heath on the same roster.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Three-man band.
Look, Drew's a guy who
He's got a good look, and if him and Dolph as a tag team could be pretty dominant.
He's a guy I'm open to, but I haven't gotten he's one of those Nakamura Balor types where it's like I know he's good because everyone tells me he's good. He had a great match. That NXT show that he got hurt on, he had a great match. That's the only one I've seen of him really having a great match, to be honest with you.
I liked it last night. It looked good. He looked like he belonged. Him and Dolph did serious damage. I don't know. I like that pairing, and I feel like Dolph needs something new. And
well,
so this will help him.
I'm hoping, like I said, Dolph, he's such a victim of they stop with him. Stop with Dolph. I really think that maybe the deeper roster on Raw could be beneficial to him. Man, he's a guy I like so much. Drew, I'm still taking a wait and see approach.
Cool.
Roman Reigns got chewed up last night, even before Samoa Joe came out.
I give him credit for even being able to get through his sentences without getting so rattled, because he was still rattled, but they didn't give him any quarter, no quarter for him. They had him killed.
And it's like, I feel like last night I could see the disappointment in his face. He was like, even here in Hartford, like I get Philly and I get WrestleMania and I get the Raw after WrestleMania and I get Brooklyn. They're booing the garbage out of me in Hartford. You know what I mean?
You can't even get the families to cheer you now. So
my thought is just like, when is this going to happen? I feel like the heel turn has to happen. They're missing it. It's
there. It's right in front of you. Samoa Joe is getting cheers. That's not supposed to happen here.
It's just so weird. I love it. Don't get me wrong, because I I also use my voice to say that I don't think he's the guy. He's not bad. He's just not the guy.
And the only cheer he got again was when he swore. When he called Samoa Joe a lazy fat ass.
Yeah, that's his crutch too. And then Joe comes out, does a great job. And boy, Joe's intensity on his promos, it just shows you. It's just like, this is what Roman doesn't have. He doesn't have the facials. He doesn't have the expression. He doesn't have the emotion that a pro wrestler needs to be that number one guy. Also, if you haven't noticed, he's on Raw and Brock Lesnar isn't.
Oh, did you see that? Did you see he's a full-timer? Did you see that?
How many times are we going to hear this? He's not wrong. Like, I appreciate that he's there every week, but I'm also, I don't get praise for showing up to my radio show every morning.
We're not going to see Brock until Money in the Bank.
Wrong. We're going to see him next Monday. We're going to see him at
I guess we're going to see him at the Greatest Royal Rumble.
He's confirmed for Monday. He's confirmed for the Greatest Rumble.
And then he's going to vanish for a while, I think.
That's fine. I'm cool. I'm more cool with this than other people are, I guess.
You are. He annoys me. I'm annoyed with them both. Listen, it was really, at the risk of getting political, WrestleMania's main event felt an awful lot like the presidential election. Like, I was like, I don't want any of them to win. I don't want any of this.
I knew.
Come on with the garbage.
Listen, dude, we've already got a champ who's there every day with AJ Styles. We've got literally 8 other champions. Yeah. I'm cool with a special attraction. I really am. So, a few more things to mention too before we wrap up the episode. We mentioned Baron Corbin. We mentioned the Absolution. So the only other, Bobby Roode is a big one, but the one I want to get to before Bobby Roode is I loved Corey's slip up last night.
Bullet Club.
Oh, I loved it.
Bullet Club. And then there's a pause, and then Michael Cole corrects him. And I know in that pause, they're getting yelled at.
Yes, he is.
God damn it, pal. You said Bullet. Say Balor.
What did you say? That one.
Balor Club.
I was trying to listen to hear if I could hear Vince through the earpiece through the microphone. Oh my God. You could tell he was getting chewed for that one.
And you could tell from then on, I feel like Corey Graves treated the rest of the show like I did when I'd get in trouble on Christmas and I wouldn't want company to leave. Like I wouldn't want everybody to leave because then I'd just be home with my parents yelling at me. Like when that show ended, he had to go in the back, and I guarantee someone said Bullet Club. Bullet Club. You smeared crap all over the piss.
Yeah, I don't think he had a good. I mean, I'm willing to bet by the time they made it to the back, it was probably not that big of a deal. But I bet you he definitely got a nice little, whether live in his ear or when he got to the back, there was probably a nice little chewing that happened.
And he didn't even like stumble and then recover. He said full blown, and the Bullet Club is for everyone.
I mean, it was just because like it's already kind of a parody of the Bullet Club.
Yeah.
And to just say it, which is like a New Japan property. And I mean, it was.
I wonder if the Bullet Club did anything with that last night.
I don't know. I'll have to check on that. But that made me smile so much. And then lastly, I feel like Bobby Roode's a guy who also needs some fresh faces. And he might get that, here soon. He's a guy, we mentioned this before. I really want to like him, but I haven't seen anything bad. Just haven't seen anything great with him yet.
Right. They needed to get him and Jinder away from Randy Orton. I'm telling you, Randy Orton's the worst.
He's an anchor right now. I don't want to see anybody feud with him. I don't want him. You're right. I love the RKO out of nowhere, and he's got a great history in the ring of having great matches, but something about him in 2018, I just can't. I'm sorry.
And then I have one more observation.
Go ahead.
I didn't run a clock, but you know, it was a lot of the shake-up and a lot of the guys, and there was a good mix of guys and girls, and the women got a lot of time last night. Cruiserweights, 0 time.
Dude, I think last week they had a match, but several weeks before that, like up until the Enzo time, they haven't been on Raw. It's so crazy.
0 minutes. I mean, the women are getting a good hour and a half of Raw now, and maybe a little less, but close. And the cruiserweights can't get on the show.
Yeah, and that's their fault. It's not the cruiserweights' fault. It's the WWE's fault.
WWE.
It's the WWE. All right, man. Anything you want to mention before we wrap things up?
Happy birthday, Nails. And is it weird if I say happy birthday to someone that's dead? Happy birthday, Roddy Piper.
It does sound a little weird, but all right, Jer. The other half of the Superstar Shakeup happens tonight, so at least that's something to be excited about for SmackDown.
Do you agree with me? The U.S. title goes back to SmackDown with Jeff Hardy?
You know, it makes a whole lot of sense. I hadn't even thought about it. So yeah, I'm going to say it probably does.
All right. I wouldn't mind seeing Rollins go either. It'll be good either way.
All right. We'll catch you back here tomorrow right here on 103gbfrocks.com.
Lazy fat ass.